So that's the view that's coming in on TCS. Mr. Subramaniam, we also have a query by a viewer, Ravi Shankar. He just wants a little bit of help on TCS. What he's done is sold the TCS Jan 1950 call at 13 rupees. What should he do now?
Well, it's still fairly out of the money, and technically also the stock has been in some sort of a struggle zone. So I think he could probably just wait it out and maybe put maybe as a nominal stop loss of around maybe 15 to 16, just in the just to cover any possible shooting up of the stock and him running into some possible loss. Yes, a small stop loss would do, but I think odds are high that he would be able to capture most part of the premium.
Okay, so that's your view on TCS and specifically Ravi Shankar's query on the 1950 call. Keep a stop loss of around 15 to 16. That's on the premium, of course. We have addressed Zee Entertainment, considering Brajesh has had a view out there. But we also have Prasad Babu, who is suggesting or actually contemplating to buy Zee Entertainment at these levels. And as we know, it has run up. It's up around 2.3% right now. Mr. Subramaniam, if I can come back to you on Zee Entertainment, how would you deal with this and what would you suggest Prasad Babu to do?
Well, the momentum expected was much higher, so we are seeing some sort of cooling off, but the stock enjoys decent support closer to levels of I think 455, 460. And I would probably just wait it out for some time and see how exactly the stock behaves post these pretty decent results. Because post results sometimes things can become a little tricky, and we see more unwinding coming about even after the it's like question of buy-in rumors and sell on the news announcement. So that sort of just wait for that sort of a thing. Just wait for some more time, maybe closer to levels of 460, maybe he could venture into it. But I would also feel that closer to levels of 455, 460, the stock seems to have be enjoying decent support. So odds will be high that it will head higher to levels of 475.
Okay, the other stock we want to discuss is Godfrey Phillips. It rallied up 7% in trade yesterday. Today it's not doing much. Yesterday moved up on decent open interest build up. Today also the open interest build up is decent on the count. What should one do? Will the rally continue, or should this opportunity be used to short the count? So Brajesh, what should one do on Godfrey Phillips? What are your indicators indicating?
See, Darshan, if I'm not mistaken, few days back, either on your show or some other news channel, the stock I have recommended also, and it has made a bullish flag pattern. And that time the stock was trading somewhere around 890, if I'm not mistaken, and it has shooted up. So at the present rate of 980, if the stock has been trading, I'll suggest if someone wants to go for a short at the present rate, one can look out to go short. On the higher side, 1105 or say 1107 is a resistance zone, which I'm not looking right now crossing it very easily. So one can look out to go short at the present rate. Whereas on the downside has been concerned, 950 to 955 would be the first band of the support. If any of that thing break, then the chances are that stock once would try to touch a 920 zone. So definitely if someone has a view of short term, definitely go for a short side.
Okay, and of course, Godfrey Phillips has gained some traction in the recent times. But with that, we move on to perhaps Mindtree and take a look at what that's doing, because we do have earnings coming through. We're going to expect that a little later on. It's been very quiet this morning. It's marginally in the red at around 855. Its open interest certainly has surged by as much as 8%. Can we pull up Mindtree as perhaps 1 month performance and see how it's actually trending right now? Because we have to remember that not only are we currently considering the prospects with respect to results, but well, there has been a lot of speculation with respect to promoters contemplating selling their stake as well. We already know a very prominent investor, VG Siddhartha, who's not enlisted as a promoter but who has been with the company for a very long time, is certainly going to look to sell his stake in the company. He owns about 3% stake at this point, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, the stock has eventually seen some pressure. But the real question is, while we do have at least 2 PE firms vying for the promoter stake. Where does the stock go? But that's on a fundamental basis. What are we seeing when it comes to technicals, and how are we seeing futures and options variables pan out here? Brijesh, let me come back to you on Mindtree. How are you seeing trade on this one?
This is a demonstration.
Yeah, Agam,
of
whatever you are saying is
Wirecast.
that the news has been right regarding with some big short investors selling off, but the chart are not suggesting anything negativity. Right now, the stock has been quoting at 852. Even the shorter term time from the chart, which I was been looking, has been trading in the range of 790, 795 on the downside, followed by 885 or 900 on the higher side. If anyhow, if the stock breaks 863 level or say 865, then definitely one can look out to buy this counter with a strict stop loss of 848 and look for a target of 900. That 900 band would be acting as a resistance. If anyhow that thing is being crossed, then the next level would be 920. So I'm looking stock at least if it trades above 863, definitely one can, as I said, one can look out to buy this counter and might try to touch the level of 900 or say 920 also in coming days.
Okay, the other one other stock that we need to highlight is Apollo Hospitals, and that's something that is buzzing in trade. It's trading at record highs now. What's the view? And look at the open interest build up, 13% open interest build up on the long side. So, Mr. Subramaniam, Apollo Hospitals, will this momentum continue?
Well, on the charts, definitely it looks like